Hi, I'm Ray Valley, product expert with BioBase. I'm going to take you through a demonstration on how to modify your maps or delete areas that you don't that aren't accurate, or you want to change some of the data depth or vegetation. This demonstration is going to be with the vegetation data, and I'm going to take you through a real world example of when we might want to edit BioBase EcoSound outputs. So here we are in the middle of the state of Florida. Florida has lakes that sometimes the bottom that has debris that grows on the bottom, or it doesn't grow on the bottom, it lays on the bottom. Debris, it's otherwise known as detritus. It looks a lot to the vegetation algorithms like vegetation. But it's not. It's bottom debris, and so we want to delete that from the vegetation output and replace that with zero values of vegetation. So right here is the default bathymetric layer. We don't want to edit that. We want to alter the vegetation. So we select the vegetation layer. Now this faint green is what we're looking at here. So here is the sonar log, and here you can see some legitimate vegetation. The blue points, it might be kind of hard to see in the demonstration, but the blue points represent the recorded depth, and the green points represent the top of the vegetation canopy. Now this is all legitimate vegetation until I'm going to get to this point here. And now you can see this little fuzz on the bottom. It's being recorded as vegetation. But researchers on the ground have demonstrated that they're doing cross checks of the data. This is actually like a detritus layer. So what we want to do is we want to delete this from the output and replace those values with vegetation values equal to 0 biovolume. So what we need to do is we need to load the vegetation table here. This goes and queries the database, and we're going to kind of reinitialize it here. We're going to click on this area, okay, and it's going to give us the area in the map where we are. We're going to go to where we first find that first vegetation value. We'll highlight it in yellow. This is the data. This represents the area that we want to delete. So what we want to do is we want to make note of this reference number. This reference number is 246577. We're going to have a little scratch pad, and we're going to make note of that number. Then we're going to click around to find where the vegetation is starting to come back in. That's legitimate, and it looks to be, and I don't know for sure because I don't have the actual vegetation data, but let's just say for sake of ease that it's kind of around this area. So we want to delete this whole strip right here and replace these with zero values. So this is the endpoint that we want to delete in this example, and the number here is 609733. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to go to the modify coordinates tab here, and we want to put in the ranges that we copied down. So this was 246577, and the range max was 609733. We want to alter the vegetation, okay? And we want to change that to whatever values those were. We want that now to equal 0. Click 0. And after we make these changes, the processing algorithms have to take those into account and create a new map and send that back to our account. So we want to just click reprocess here and then hit submit. Okay, and then what that does is that sends it to the processing queue, and we wait for that to be done. Okay, trip is done processing. We just reloaded the trip. I'm going to click on the vegetation here, and now you can see where that once was this faint green color, is now been replaced by zeros. and we can confirm that by loading the vegetation table, and we can go back in the sonar log to where that area we were looking at, which is right here. And sure enough, if you recall, our beginning coordinate was this 246,577, and look, it even says that it's been modified. So there is a certain degree of data integrity there that we know that we modified that data. So now all your statistics, your data exports, all your maps are going to be updated now with this edited data. And then you can continue to go through the rest of the sonar log and the trip and make these changes if you wish. You can do it all at once. Like I chose to click reprocess, and it just reprocessed this one spot. But if we wanted, we could kind of iteratively do it as well, and then just send it back for the trip reprocessing. We can go and use this trip reprocessing tab. Once we are done with all of our edits, send it back for reprocessing, and that essentially would do the same thing. So there you go.